Good morning. Welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living this morning. Glad to see you all here. I am going to be reading the thought for the week called Practicing the Presence. We've been focusing on fourth dimensional living this month, which brings us up and beyond the physical world of form to the spiritual realm. Knowing and doing are two different and distinct things. It's one thing to know intellectually about spiritual matters, but bringing that knowledge into practical life demonstrations and experiences is quite another. Practicing the presence of God, spirit, divine energy, whatever name you want to call it, takes intention and devotion. Making our spiritual life a priority is a basic requirement to living in the fourth dimension. When we put God first in our lives, we acknowledge there is a power within and around us only wanting for our highest and best good. This presence does not typically announce itself with bells and whistles. No, it is a subtle speaking in a still small voice to our heart and soul. One must first have interest and faith that the kingdom of the infinite is here, right where we are at every moment of every day. As we unite with this pure, whole, and holy energy, we are teachable. But like anything else in life, to become proficient at it takes practice. Many have had a morning regime of reading the Bible or other spiritual materials and saying a quick prayer, but then they go about the balance of their day without a thought of spiritual matters. If you are truly interested in living in the fourth dimension where you abide in unconditional love, deep peace, and utilize spiritual wisdom, it takes checking in with your inner higher self periodically throughout the day. It takes acknowledging, accepting, and praising God's divine hand and guidance at every hour of every day. Say with me, I now dedicate myself to daily and hourly practicing the presence of the divine and see it perfectly and beautifully working through every aspect of my life and affairs. For this, I am ever so grateful, and it is so. Okay, well, good morning to all of you again. I wanted to say thank you for inviting me to be here today as Reverend Kathleen is on her whirlwind trip to Ireland. So I'm grateful that she is, I know, having a wonderful time, and I'm grateful that I'm here to be with all of you. So most of us are very familiar with living in the third dimension. That's we're here on this earth planet, you know. We have eyes to see, we have ears to hear. All of our senses, the touch, are things that we are comfortable with, that we realize that's what life's about. The things I can see, the things I can feel, the things I can touch. But there is more to life than a third dimensional living. There's a fourth dimension that is beyond what we can see with our human eyes, beyond what we can hear with our inner ear. We have to hear within us is where that fourth dimension lies. Nowhere else. And as I said in Thought for the Week, it takes intention. It takes a knowing that this is important to me, to be able to live in this realm, because that's really where the power is. That's really where our source and our substance is taking that, the importance of that intention of bringing that spiritual self out into the world so that we can do good works without the attachment to the results. Let me say that again. We are here, I believe, to do good, and we can do it, though, without attachment to them or their results. And that's the tricky part, because we always want to have it the way we want to have it. And just to step back and be willing to let the universe, let spirit, let life have the result, whether it was in our knowingness or not. There are effective spiritual practices that we can use every day. Number one is intelligence, to comprehend what is to be learned. That means we place ourselves in new learning and growing situations. Right now, our book club is reading The Way of Mastery. Some of us are rereading it again. And it's a channeled writing from Jeshua, and it's published by Shanti Christo Foundation. It's very deep, it's very rich, and we are going through it very slowly. So it's not too late if any of you want to join us to come on Mondays at 10:30 here in Fuller Hall and sort through this beautiful, rich treasure that we are going through. So that's our intellect, that's learning, growing on that growing edge. The second thing is letting go of erroneous ideas and addictive and self-defeating behaviors. Ooh. So we have to let go of those things that we do routinely that make us go numb, that hold us back. And you know, we all have them, whether it be numbing ourselves through food, through drink, through shopping, through watching TV, whatever it is that we need to let those things go from our day in and day out experiences. And I'm talking to myself here, you know, because I have an addiction to baseball. I know. Yeah, I know there's some more in this room that have that as well. So the third thing is ethical living. What is ethical living? Ethical living is doing the right thing. We are now, I have become aware of this little book called Holy Moments, and I have one for each of you here today to take home with you to read. And in Holy Moments, it talks about the way that we can do good deeds and that we can do them every day. But it takes being in the presence of love to do it. In the beginning of the book, Holy Moments, it talks about a monastery that for centuries was run by loving monks, and the people would come from miles around to visit it and enjoy the beautiful gardens and the beautiful energy there. Then slowly the monks started becoming jealous of some of the younger ones, and gossip started and spread among them. The visitors noticed they weren't as kind as they had been to each other. And so the visitors, one by one, stopped coming, and the monastery became dilapidated and run down. The abbot was concerned about this and decided to go seek help from a wise hermit that lived 2 days' travel away. When he got there, he shared the story of what had happened to the monastery, and the wise hermit told the abbot to go back and tell the monks that the Messiah is among you. When the abbot told the monks this, they each began wondering, who could it be? From that moment on, they looked at each other differently. They thought of each other differently, and they began to treat each other differently. They began to treat each other with kindness and profound respect. These little things, these holy moments, breathed new life into that community. The visitors started returning, and it began to flourish. Why? Because they each saw that the other was a holy one. You know, Joel Goldsmith has written many times that we see our brothers and our sisters as one with us. Very important spiritual lesson, that there is no exclusion, that everyone, everything, all is part of this beautiful one power and one presence. And when we see that in each other, then we're going to act in a manner that is befitting of honor to that person. The definition of a holy moment is this. A holy moment is a single moment in which you open yourself up to God, and I'm putting in parentheses, love. A holy moment is a single moment in which you open yourself up to love. You make yourself available to it. You set aside personal preference and interest. And for one moment, you do what you prayerfully believe that love is calling you to do. Does it sound easy? No. It doesn't sound easy? It's not that easy, is it? But it is very simple. It's not complicated. I believe we are here to grow, to evolve, to experience our true nature of love. That's what we are. We are here to love our true nature. Love is beyond judgment. Some of this is coming from the Way of Mastery, by the way. Some of you recognize that here. Love is beyond judgment. Love is beyond fear. Love is beyond any sort of negativity. Where does love reside? It resides in pure joy. It resides in givingness. It resides in freedom. It resides in openness. Forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others brings us back to love every moment we practice it. The principle of holy moments teaches us to focus on the good that we can do. Of course, our true nature is spirit, yet our spirit was born into this earth plane, I believe, to experience and do good works. Every morning I say a routine prayer, and one of the beginning lines is, "Open our hearts that we may hear thy voice, which constantly comes from within." And I've learned to change one little word in there from hear to heed. Open our hearts that we may heed thy voice, which constantly comes from within. Last December, I was preparing for a party at my home, and I had some people over before it started to help prepare, and there was a big ice chest in the kitchen with ice in it. It was heavy, big. And one of the friends said, "Oh, let me take that out onto the patio. That's where I wanted it." I was standing at the sink, and I heard the voice say, "Can he do that by himself?" But I didn't do anything about it. I just heard, "Can he do that by himself?" And the next thing I knew, I heard a big crash. And of course, going out the door, there, this threshold, couldn't see it because you had a big, crate thing in front of you, and he fell onto this object and was a bad fall. It's taken almost 6 months now, because he's now getting surgery at the end of this month on all the problems that was generated on his shoulder from that fall. It was a big lesson for me to heed that still small voice and do something about it. I honestly believe, we're all spirit, and when we leave this physical form of this earth plane, we will still live in that spirit form. But while we're here, we have a body for a reason. To be able to give and do and be this holy one on this earth plane. I think our voice is always, always, always coaxing us, telling us, encouraging us to do our highest and our best good. But we have to be attuned to it. When we are living in fear, we block that voice out. When we are living in judgment, we block it out. When we are living in regret, we are living in the past and not in the eternal now, where spirit and love exists. Practicing the presence is listening and doing the will of love that is living in us. On page 51 of the book Holy Moments, he lists several examples of holy moments so that you can get an idea, and I want to read them to you. Holy moments come in all shapes and sizes. Here are some more everyday examples. Control your temper. even if you are fully justified in losing it. Pray before making a decision. Encourage someone, coach someone, praise someone, affirm someone. Be patient with that person who drives you crazy. We all have them. Do something that helps you become a better version of yourself even when you don't feel like it. Give whomever is in front of you your full attention. That's a holy moment. Begin each day with a short prayer of gratitude. Catch someone doing something right and praise them. Overlook an offense against you. Go out of your way to make the new person feel welcome. Take your spouse's car and fill it with gas. Take an interest in someone. Ask him about the best part of his day. Ask her about her dreams. They're not complicated. They're not anything that is difficult to do at all. Matthew Kelly is the author of this book, and he wrote that the Christian life is quite simple in a sense. If I had to summarize it in 10 words, I would say, you were made in the image of God. Act accordingly. Act accordingly. Stephen R. Covey wrote, anything less than a conscious commitment to the important is an unconscious commitment to the unimportant. I'm going to say that again so that you can have it sink in. Anything less than a conscious commitment to the important is an unconscious commitment to the unimportant. We are here to act accordingly, to be that love in expression. So we are here to give of our true nature, our Holy Spirit, our whole self. And even if it's a little thing like a smile. I commend you, I ask you to try this out, just as a sample. In your day-to-day, as you go through life and you in contact with someone, you catch an eye with someone, where you are, in the store, doesn't matter if you know the person or not, give them a smile.
I do that all the time.
And see what happens. What happens 99.9% of the time?
They
are going to smile right back.
And 50% of the time they ask you, hi, how's your day?
Hi, how's your day? You engage them.
That's 50% of that, because I do that 100% of the time.
Yeah. And it's amazing how it uplifts, them, it uplifts us. And it's encouraging to, I know that somebody in here smiles all the time. and what a great thing to do, because that smile is a grin, is showing people that we have this joy within us. The kingdom of God is within us. Imagine that. We don't have to do anything to deserve it. It's already there. It's already in full force, 1,000% available to us if we but go within and let it out. Bring that love that we are out. So we have to seek the kingdom, right? It's there, but it's not beating the door down. It's very quiet and it's very subtle. And it takes our initiative to think on that truth, that my goodness, the kingdom of heaven is within me. To settle into that truth, that the kingdom of heaven is within me and within everyone. That there's no discretion, there's no one is excluded by not having the kingdom within them too. And I'm going to feel that truth, that the kingdom is within me. So I want you to go forth today and be that kingdom in expression, to be that love in expression, to have that shine on your face as you smile through the day and engage, because really, I think another reason why we are in this body form is for the relationships that we develop along the way. The relationships teach us a lot. And so open yourself up today to this truth of living in the kingdom and sharing it, giving it your full force. Practice the presence of love, and you will have a joyful and blessed day. Namaste.